Welcome back to the Remedial Film Class Podcast. I'm your host, Dan.
And I'm Travis.
And I'm George.
George, can we take a moment tonight and thank the Stonecutters?
Please.
Because without them, would Steve Guttenberg be a star?
I don't know.
We'll never know. Guys, we watched Police Academy. My first Steve Guttenberg movie.
Really?
Yeah.
You never saw 3 Men and a Baby?
No.
Holy shit. Have you ever seen this, or is this a first-time watch?
I've seen the Podium Scene, but I don't think I'd seen the rest of this movie.
Wow. Okay.
Yeah.
I watched this with my son.
Do you think Bill Clinton saw the Podium Scene?
Yeah.
You need to do that a little louder.
I did not watch the Podium Scene. I'm biting my lip right now. But it's a bad visual
I think we all
impression.
are, Trav. I think we all are.
Yeah. I did laugh out loud at that scene, not for what happened, but I forgot that right before he came out from underneath the podium,
He did what now?
Before he appeared from underneath the podium, I remember, like right before, I remembered he pokes his head out. And that made me laugh because I remember it being a very funny scene for Lassard, who's it's almost like Leslie Nielsen doing Naked Gun.
Yeah, it is.
Because that guy was always kind of like, you know,
he had no idea.
Respectable like character actor, and then he does that scene, and it's like, yeah, took one for the team.
I mean, you could argue that the Steve Guttenberg character would have also taken one for the team by being stuck in that booth throughout that process.
Yeah. Yeah.
You know, I didn't even think of that.
So, George, what do you think, man? Police Academy?
Generally? It's
or
not
specifically? I mean, whatever.
Not the worst movie I've ever seen.
No.
It's not Wild Things.
No, it's 80s humor.
You know? I wouldn't say it's a masterpiece.
It's a lot lighter than I thought I remembered.
Actually, no. Let me change my opinion. I wept.
You wept?
I wept.
At what?
This masterpiece.
Stop.
I'm kind of like middle of the road on this.
No, it's
because it's funny. Like it's got funny stuff in it,
but it's not a good movie.
Yeah, it's like,
it's very 80s hokey.
Yeah, it wasn't so bad that I was like,
it has its moments.
I can't do this. It was.
And some of those moments are still funny. Like, I remember watching this when I was like 10 because it was kind of taboo because there's like some asses and boobs in it.
Oh, yeah.
And it just was, I wasn't allowed to watch it at 10. So I remember watching it late at night, and a lot of the things that made me laugh back then are still funny.
Yeah.
But the things that
had a good sense of humor back then.
Things that didn't age well, it's just not a very well done movie.
I thought you were going to say, are still funny.
No, oh yeah, some of the jokes that don't age well, they're still funny. Yeah, some of those things are, they're tasteless, but
yeah,
they still made me smirk.
The main love interest, what was her name?
Kim
Thompson.
Kim Cattrall.
On very beautiful lady.
Do you recognize her?
No. Should I?
Yeah.
Yeah, you should probably know who that is.
She was the Lassie character in Porky's. The Howler.
Oh, really?
The gym teacher that howls.
Oh, okay.
She's also famous for a small TV show called Sex and the City.
Oh, I wouldn't.
Yeah, you wouldn't know that. But I'm saying you would know her from our show because of Porky's.
Yeah. I tried to erase all of Porky's from my memory.
Yeah, but I don't know. I still love that movie.
She's good in this.
She's hot.
Well, yeah, that, but
she's
also her,
Yeah, no,
how she's, at first you think she's gonna be like real straight laced, but then she's flirtatious kind of right away, and you're like, whoa, didn't see that coming.
Female version of Mahoney, kind of.
Yeah,
ready to play.
Yeah.
I think a lot of the characters did. The one guy, that kind of goes and gets caught by the instructor and then winds up hooking up with her. He was kind of the guy who was pretending to be Latino
Martin.
love.
Martin.
Yeah. Martin. Yeah,
George
Martin.
George Martin.
He was a good character too. I enjoyed him.
Yeah.
And Michael Winslow became world famous from this movie, who was the sound effects guy.
Oh, yeah.
Kind
Dr. Monsignor.
Yeah.
Whatever his name is.
Who disappears in like the second act and doesn't reappear until the final scene. That was pretty weird.
Kind of a reason for that. I don't know if you probably don't know this.
I didn't rehab.
I found out recently. He was an added character. He was not in the original script.
Huh.
There you go.
So it explains, apparently the producer or the writer, director, or whatever, one of those guys saw his stand-up. Probably the writer or director saw his stand-up and said, we need to make a part for this guy. So they wrote him some parts. So that kind of explains why he's not a prominent character. But he does own the scenes he's in.
Yeah.
And kind of makes a career out of that. I mean, he doesn't do much else other than Police Academy movies. But he makes a great appearance in Spaceballs, which is pretty awesome. But he's like
maybe if I had seen Police Academy, I would have noticed him when I watched Spaceballs. But whenever I watch a movie, like everything in it goes over my head still. So
right. But yeah. But that was a little thing I didn't know either, and I've seen this movie numerous times, and I didn't know that he was written in later.
I can see that.
I found it interesting that this kind of paralleled the movie The Right Stuff. You know what the movie The Right Stuff is? It's about the astronauts that basically break the sound barrier. It's a serious film. It's like the opposite of this movie. Like instead of a bunch of misfits that join the police force, it's like the best of the best in aeronautics and Air Force.
Yeah.
And it's their training. It's basically the same movie, but the polar opposites.
But not funny.
Not funny.
And deadly serious.
Yes.
But
it's like Ed Harris.
And factual and historical.
It's Ed Harris from The Rock.
Yeah.
And Scott Glenn, who plays Crawford in Silence of the Lambs.
Okay.
There's a bunch of like big actors that are in that movie, which is not in this movie. But it's funny that I think the producer of this movie also produced The Right Stuff. And when he was almost like he got the idea to make this movie from that movie.
Well, one thing about The Right Stuff that I've always enjoyed is Levon Helm makes an acting appearance. He's the drummer from the band. And so I think Police Academy needed a little bit more Levon Helm. That's what I would
should have been
suggest.
the Blue Oyster playing, maybe.
Yeah.
Can we watch Cruising next? Is that what we're doing?
I don't know.
You're almost ready.
Yeah. I don't know if I'm ready for that. Hightower.
He was awesome. He was my favorite part of the movie, actually. Yeah. Everything Hightower was the best part of this movie.
Yeah. I think he used to play for the Cowboys.
I was thinking, I mean, he's built like a football player for sure.
I
was hoping he was like a well-known football player that I just didn't recognize.
Bubba Smith. He played, is it the Cowboys, Dan? Or was it the Raiders? I have to look that up. I'm going to look that up on air because I'm not sure.
I was going to say do.
Yeah, I was not born at the time this movie came out, so I wasn't watching Bubba Smith play football.
Dude, it's right there on the screen. Moses Hightower, Bubba Smith. Trav.
What? Yeah, I know that's his name. I just don't know what team he played for. Bubba Smith played for the Raiders, which I said.
Mm-hmm.
The Baltimore Colts.
Okay, that was a long time
and
ago.
The Houston Oilers.
That was also a long time ago.
6'7". Charles.
None of those teams still exist in the city he played in them.
Right.
That's kind of funny.
Yeah, he played in the late 60s, early 70s for the Colts, and then the mid 70s for the Raiders, and then the Oilers at the same time.
I like the Raiders in Vegas. You know?
Yeah.
Seems like a good spot for them being, like pirates and such. You know? And Vegas is like, the shiny, bejeweled part of the country.
They do belong there.
Lots of treasures there.
Sea.
It's a perfect spot for them.
Kinda.
I mean,
no, the city's perfect for them. But yeah. So I don't know. I always liked Hightower and Tackleberry. I liked Tackleberry too when I was growing up. He reminded me of my brother.
Yeah, I think. I think Tackleberry might have been my favorite. Because he's like everything. He's the worst applicant.
Yes.
He's the worst.
He reminded me of when I used to manage a movie theater. We had a volunteer fireman on staff.
Mm-hmm.
And we wound up having to get rid of him because he would start fires in the theater.
Yeah.
So he could put him out.
Yeah.
Yeah. That's about where I put Tackleberry.
Exactly.
Creating chaos so he can fix it.
If you not even that. He's just not even trying to fix it. He's just
drawn to it.
He's just obsessed with guns.
Yeah.
It's if you made a list of the qualities that you would want in a police academy applicant, he would be the opposite of everything on that list.
Yeah. What's funny is this movie kind of does parallel Full Metal Jacket as well. A little bit.
Yeah, a little bit, yeah.
Like just that riffraff group being broken down or whatever. But Tackleberry, I could see him in Full Metal Jacket being Private Pile.
Yeah. Yeah, totally.
Why are you not stopping Private Pile's brains in? Did Dan leave?
I don't know, did he?
No, Dan's still here.
Dan didn't like this movie.
It was not great, guys.
No, it's not great.
Like, it was not Porky's bad by any means. But, like, it feels like it exists in a time, like, when this came out, it feels like, oh, this is a movie for old people. Like, this is how they used to do. Like, it's like Mel Brooks, but without the sugar. It's like Diet Mel Brooks.
It's Wish.com.
It was 84,
Mel Brooks.
right? 84. So, I mean...
Yeah. I mean, you're living in a world where Beverly Hills Cop is a thing, and 48 Hours has already happened. It doesn't make sense that we're still doing movies like this.
I don't know if we are anymore. I don't think a movie like this gets made.
But I mean, if I'm living in 1984, it doesn't make sense that it'd be like, I don't know, if they did another, like, what did they make 10 years ago? That's what I'm getting at. This is a 10-year-old movie when it comes out.
Actually, ironically, this guy made one of my favorite 90s versions of a movie like this, which was called Down Periscope.
I've heard of that.
I remember when that came out.
Yeah, it was not a police academy. It was like a crew on a submarine.
Is that Kelsey Grammer?
Kelsey Grammer, yeah.
Yeah, I remember the advertising for that.
That's a funny movie. I never did
watch it.
It's better, way better than this, quality-wise, story-wise. The cast. It's another one of those things where you just gather a bunch of people in a movie and put them in a situation and let them kind of play the different characters. It's almost like, I don't want to say it's like an improv class where you say, okay, you're this, you're this, you're this, you're this, you're sitting in this car, you're driving to Comic-Con, go. It's not like that where you're just like, oh my God, this is excruciating improv.
Yeah.
But they all had created characters that were funny enough that could play off of each other.
So,
it's better than this, but it's the same, along the same lines of humor.
More like Spinal Tap.
No, it's not as good as Spinal Tap.
Okay, because that's what you were describing.
But it's like they knew their characters well enough. Yeah, kind of like Spinal Tap, where they knew their characters well enough where they could do improv. These guys weren't doing improv; they were actually, with a script.
Okay.
But the characters were funny enough to where they carry a movie about nothing. If that makes sense. Kind of like Seinfeld. Like when you watch Seinfeld, every episode is about nothing.
Yeah.
But the characters are funny enough to where you enjoy watching them do stupid shit.
Yeah.
So this movie lacks that. They could have had that, but it doesn't seem like they developed. The actors didn't do enough background to give you what you would get from an Eddie Murphy or a Mike Myers, where, you know, they've hashed these characters out so well that you could take Austin Powers and put him in a Beverly Hills Cop movie, and the two of them would be awesome together.
Yeah, this movie was, you know, there was like an outline for every character, but it was kind of just felt like it was thrown together, you know?
And a lot of movies in the 80s suffered from that. But then you get movies like, you know, Better Off Dead or 16 Candles and all those kind of movies that are the same.
George knows those movies, right, George?
I think I've actually seen Better Off Dead.
Yeah.
Oh, well, there you go.
But it was a very long time ago in college, and I was drunk.
And it's that kind of thing.
But I remember liking it. Can't remember a thing that happened in it.
But it's a movie about nothing. It's just a bunch of characters that are in situations.
Who's the, is it Cusack?
Yeah.
He's in some other movies that I've seen that I like, too.
He's good.
Or is he a director or is he an actor? He's an actor, right?
There's another one of his movies called...
Guys, can I reiterate? I know nothing about movies or actors or anything.
That's okay. That's why we're here.
Just reiterate that.
But he did a movie called Grosse Point Blank, which has a shit ton of like really good characters in it.
Okay. And
situations where I remember watching it going, oh my God, like Dan Aykroyd's in it. He does like some really funny shit. But it's so outlandish of a story where you're like, I'm glad these characters are good because this movie would suck if they weren't good. And I think this movie doesn't achieve that. But it didn't have to because it wasn't expected to in the 80s. If this was made today, they would have to really sit down and figure this shit out or it would bomb.
Could you imagine, though, if this movie had, instead of the actors that it had, like Eddie Murphy and like all those like SNL people and...
There is a movie that I want to watch that I did mention to Dan that reminds me of this, or is a good lead. This is a good lead-in, which has that.
Okay.
We will probably watch it later on. Do you agree, Dan?
Yeah, I think we'll put a pin in that discussion and come back
put
around
a pin in it.
in a few weeks once we are no longer beholden to the calendar, as we will be beginning next week.
So we will reference this movie when we do that movie. And then you'll see why that one is so much better, even though they're made pretty much at the same time.
Like, if you took the cast of Ghostbusters and you made this movie?
Yes.
Gold.
Maybe. We'll see. The thing, I'm really glad we watched this movie, even though it's a stinker. Because it exists so simultaneously with Beverly Hills Cop.
Mm-hmm.
It just shows, I mean, this is like the seam where we go from a different era to a modern era. And that seam exists directly between Police Academy and Beverly Hills Cop.
Right.
And the world changes. Yeah. It's really cool. Like, it's super important that we like recognize that after all the stuff we watched and how it kind of, you know, Beverly Hills Cop is still a movie they're copying today.
Right.
But you don't get Beverly Hills Cop until 84. And until you've had, I mean, can you imagine? Yeah. If you don't have Beverly Hills Cop, is Bad Boys a lot more like Police Academy?
Ugh. Possibly.
Maybe.
Ugh.
And when you look at who they were going to cast as Mahoney, it changes the movie as well.
Who were they going to cast?
Originally, it was supposed to be Bruce Willis.
Okay.
Now, this is like pre-Die Hard Bruce Willis. This is like moonlighting Bruce Willis.
Is this pre-Moonlighting? I thought that was 86. Maybe I'm off on that.
Yeah, no, it's pre-Moonlighting as well.
Wow.
I believe. I don't know when they did the pilot for that show, though, so that could have played into it. Who else? Michael Keaton.
Ooh.
Okay.
Now you're speaking my language.
Tom Hanks, which is like Bachelor Party.
Oh, that
Tom
would
Hanks.
have been good.
I think he was like 86 with Bachelor Party. So like splash Tom Hanks.
Yeah.
And Judge Reinhold.
That's who I was going to say.
So it would have been
I was going to say,
interesting.
you know who I would have cast? Judge Reinhold. I swear to God I was thinking that. Not even kidding.
That's funny.
Probably because he's on my mind since we just watched him in 2 different movies very recently.
But he has that same kind of comedic timing.
But think about it. You can have you have Fast Times where he's like graduating high school.
Right.
Then you have Police Academy where he goes to the academy.
And then it becomes...
And then...
Rosewood.
Yeah.
Wow.
It would have been...
6 Degrees of Judge Reinhold.
Yeah.
He's in everything.
Huge missed opportunity.
Damn. It could have been like a trilogy of Brad.
Yeah. But...
Give us our daily Brad.
Daily Brad. And then, maybe Hightower catches him jerking off in the bathroom.
Well, and then the podium scene at the end is much more meaningful.
Yes.
Right?
And they can end it with, doesn't anybody fucking knock anymore?
I wouldn't put Phoebe Cates down there. She's too respectable.
She's above that.
She's too respectable.
Too respectable. She was in Gremlins, for God's sake. She was in Drop Dead Fred. And Gremlins too. I like it.
I kind of like it too.
I like it.
I mean, it's
its imperfections.
It's not good, but I still like it.
Now, I remember watching the first 10 minutes, and I was about to text Dan. And I was about to say, let's not do this. Because it was so... I kind of like the beginning, how it started off as you're not really sure what kind of movie it's going to be. But just the theme music, like it was just so... Like the guy in the photo mat when he's like, you know what I'll do? Like it was just so corny.
Yeah.
And I'm like, oh, this is going to be terrible. I already knew Dan was going to hate it, but I was like, well, George kind of liked Trading Places.
Basically garbage day.
Yeah, it's not good, but there's moments. And I knew that.
Yeah.
I knew that before we even did it. But I knew where we were going, and I knew what movies are better than this, but like it. And it's the premise of our show. This is the kind of movie that you should have seen at some point in your life.
Sure.
To be able to go, you know what, that sucked. But for its time, it was pretty okay. And it was funny. And it led to A, B, or C. So I don't know if this came out before Airplane or after.
And
I've seen other movies that are
Airplane's
kind of
like 81, I think.
In this vein, what the heck is that movie?
16 Candles has the same kind of humor as this, but it's just a better written movie.
And how many of these did they do? Are there 5 Police Academy?
There's like
oh my
7
god,
of
that's
them.
terrible.
Like
Part two is funny.
What are we doing in the 80s? Why are we doing this to movies?
Sequels were the 80s. Like,
and we know why.
Money grab.
Because of Friday the 13th Part 2.
Money grab.
It all circles back to season 1. Guys, the joke in Wayne's World that Tia Carrere's character learned English in college and watching Police Academy movies. Now you understand why that's a joke.
Yep.
Oh.
See, Police Academy 2 is a must-watch at some point in your life because it's them in the field. Like, they've all graduated. Now they're in the field. And they introduce some, like, there's Bob Goldthwait from Scrooged, the guy with the gun.
Oh, yeah.
He plays Zed, who's like this biker guy,
but
he's full on Bob Goldthwait. Like,
yeah, he's also the voice of one of Hades' little demons in Hercules, which is like one of my favorite Disney movies.
And then you get Sweet Chuck. Sweet Chuck's a character they introduce in Part 2. It's really good. Like there's reasons to watch 2, but it's not a good movie. But there's it's the comedy is there, but again the story sucks. It's almost like it's a shame.
You know what is a good movie? Super Troopers.
But see, they've taken this formula and perfected it.
That's what I'm saying. That's what I'm saying.
Without Police Academy.
I know.
Right.
I'm thinking of other movies that because I've seen a bunch of these. Like, I wouldn't say a bunch, but like Super Troopers comes up as like my number one, like what I compare this to. And I know that this came out first and like it's setting the stage and they haven't really got it right yet, which is fine. But then have you guys ever seen the Reno 911 movie?
Yeah.
The recent one or the old one? Because I've seen them both.
I wasn't sure. I wasn't aware that there was a more recent one.
They had one that launched on streaming, like in the middle of the pandemic, and it's a hunt for QAnon. They're like looking for Q.
Oh man,
it's amazeballs.
That sounds amazing. That sounds amazing.
Highly
see that one.
recommend.
But no,
I'll see that.
Highly
no, I was
recommended.
thinking of the other one where there's like a police officers convention in like Orlando or something.
Yeah,
So
I
the
watched
Reno
it in
cops,
college.
the Reno cops are somewhere where they're not familiar with, and
Yeah,
they're
it's
the
Police
only.
Academy 5.
Yeah.
Where they're in Miami.
Okay.
Fighting drug lords.
But this has, I've seen this kind of progress.
What's funny is I don't think you get Police Academy without like a Caddyshack. So it's like
I wouldn't know. I've never seen it.
Oh. Yeah.
I've told you this guy's
I'm sure we'll
times.
get to that at some point.
Yeah,
By the
but-
way, I was just peeking ahead because I was seeing Bubba Smith, it appears, is in like all of the Police Academy movies,
Yes.
as is Bruce
They're all in
Mailer.
'em.
Dude, Bruce
Mhm.
Mailer, the clumsy Doug Fackler with the wife who says he can't join and he keeps
Yes.
getting
Yeah.
Yes.
Axel from Friday the 13th Part 4, the creepy
Yes.
the coroner
The coroner guy. Yeah.
who tries to bang the nurse in front of Jason's corpse.
Watching
And the
robots-
star
watching
of the
aerobics
movie
video.
Funland. See, it all comes together to Funland. Vinegar Syndrome, I need Funland. Bruce Mailer is in this movie, and he's doing pretty good work. I mean, I'll probably watch Police Academy 2 now that I see Colleen Camp is in it. I'm a
Yeah.
big fan of Colleen Camp. So, all right,
But
I'll
the-
watch another one.
Just watch part 2 for just the little characters. I mean, Sweet Chuck he's from SNL. I can't remember what his name is, but he was like I don't know how well you know SNL, but there was a bit where one guy made another guy's milk come out of his nose. There were guys that grew up together and they were adults, and Sweet Chuck was the guy that would drink anything at the lunch table. And the other guy would have milk come out of his nose if he laughed while he was drinking. And then the other guy would make him laugh. So then he started making him laugh. Milk started coming out of his nose, and then Sweet Chuck started putting a glass under his face and drinking the milk.
Oh my
God. It's a funny bit, but he's funny. And just as he plays this nerdy guy who's a cop. It's worth it. But
Okay.
it's not worth an episode, but it's worth for Bob Goldthwait and the other characters.
Let me ask you a question, Trav.
Yes.
When we started this podcast, I think what we talked about was, what will I think of a movie that you're nostalgic about?
Yeah.
Today, watching it today for the first time.
Right.
Right?
Yes, that was one of the premises.
Yeah. Right. One of. Do you, and I think the answer is yes to this question, find yourself watching these movies today and feeling some sort of way about your nostalgia for it?
Yes.
Like,
Well, I text Dan all the time. I don't think George is gonna like this.
isn't that amazing?
Because I know your taste.
Is it because is it because of my taste, or is it because your nostalgia is showing?
No, I know sometimes a movie's shit, and I just love it because I grew up on it. Yeah, I completely.
Sometimes you know it, sometimes you
Yeah.
like. But do you ever come to a movie that you are nostalgic about and you think is great, and then you watch it and go, "Oh no, this isn't
that we've done yet."
Yeah.
I don't know how many times have I texted you, Dan.
Oh my gosh.
There
Yeah,
were
I
a
think
couple-
that's
There were a couple where I was like, "Yeah, this movie does suck," but
it's not how I remember it." That
yes,
kind of thing.
Yes. The only one I think that you unleashed on me, that opinion that I was shocked, was Stand By Me. I thought Stand By Me was going to,
And you know what?
and Porky's. I think I was shocked with your take on Porky's because I just thought it was.
I'm
don't
not
know if-
talking about my opinion. I'm talking about your opinion. Like
If
when
I
you-
watched
when
it and I
you-
realized it does
when-
suck.
Yeah, when you are rewatching the movie today and you're like, "Oh my gosh,
This one.
this movie's not good."
This one.
Well, yeah, this one.
But
is
I
what-
think back then I knew it wasn't good. I think watching it now, I haven't seen this movie in probably 15 years.
Yeah.
So I'm watching it as a 47-year-old, and it does not age well. It's not good.
So I think that the Stand By Me, my take on Stand By Me is not many people share it. Like
No.
everyone,
No, a lot of people. love
everyone that I
movie.
talk to, be listening to the radio and they'll have like a summer blockbuster, topic or whatever,
Right.
Stand By Me always comes up. People freaking love that movie.
I think the nostalgia of that movie is just part of it. The camaraderie of the friends and all. It's like there's just a lot of things that everybody can kind of associate with
I think
themselves.
it's like kind of like your generation's Stranger Things.
Yes.
You know?
And I think that's why my generation likes Stranger Things, because it kind of taps into that Goonies, Stand By Me kind of feel. Ghostbusters. They
E.T.
play on them. Yeah, they play on our nostalgia pretty good on that Stranger Things show. I can understand why people don't like it. There's reasons why I don't like it, but they got me. They knew how to get me.
Yeah.
It's changed, but
and I think that's kind of like why someone in my generation loves, say, I'm not talking about me personally, but other people from my generation love Clerks.
Right.
Because that's,
they can relate.
That's a time that kind of has gone by now at this point.
Clerks 3 comes out right now, actually. Just premiered this past weekend.
Oh, yeah?
And I've got tickets for the big debut in Kansas City.
Is
coming up
Smith
in September.
coming out for it?
Well, he's coming in November. I'm working on getting tickets for that. We'll see if that works out. But I'm definitely going to go to my local AMC and watch Clerks 3 in a couple weeks, which is surreal because it's been quite a journey getting that thing made. And everybody came back, even Rosario Dawson.
Nice.
So, yeah.
No, it's good. That's that movie hits people in the feels.
Oh, man. My feels are ready to be hit. What's up?
So, when I was watching this movie, I was like, okay, is there anything quotable? And there's really not. But I did laugh out loud at Hightower's quote about what he did before he was in the academy. And he's like, well, I'm a florist. And he's like, flowers and shit. That made me laugh so hard. I don't know why. And I think I enjoyed it a little bit, even though I knew it sucked. Gabe was actually enjoying it. So I was kind of
Well, you let him watch a movie with boobies in it, so why wouldn't he?
No, I kind of didn't. I kind of fast forwarded a couple of scenes. But I left some of it.
Does the female form frighten you?
No. Just, I feel weird. Now I know how my dad felt. Like, I just feel, and plus Jen was in the room, like she was kind of sleeping, but I didn't want her waking up and seeing that on the screen when we're both sitting. Like, I just, your sister scares me. I don't know. I'll never forget. There was a time when my dad, we were watching something that was like probably along this line where it wasn't a nudie movie, but there was nudity in it.
Yeah.
And I remember my mom walking by from another room and something on screen was not appropriate for my age. And she's like, what are you watching or something? And my dad kind of like chucked the remote over to me and he's like, turn that off. Like it was almost like he didn't care. But then when my mom pointed it out, then he cared, like fake cared.
Yeah.
Because I was probably 12. It really didn't matter if I was watching it.
Yeah.
I'd seen boobs before. But yeah, it's still weird for me. Call it repression, call it, just being a dad in the room. I mean, he's 16, but...
Oh, my God, he's 16?
I just felt weird. Like, if he was watching it and I wasn't in the room, I wouldn't care, I guess. But it's just because I was sitting there. It felt...
Well, and I'm sure he doesn't want to sit there and watch boobs with you. I mean, that's just as awkward.
I'm kind of breaking them in. We've been watching all the Friends episodes, and it gets pretty racy. Not visually, but verbally.
Right.
So that's awkward.
Yeah.
But at least it's easing him into it. Nudity, I don't know if I'm ready to sit and watch a movie with him like that yet. But that's neither here nor there.
That's weird. I don't know what that's like.
No, you still got some time to worry about that.
Hey, so guys, breaking news. According to the cameo bio of one Sean Cunningham,
Yes, I've read this. Go on.
Talks about producing and directing Friday the 13th. And then this is a quote from his profile, supposedly. The movie has spawned 12 installments, with the 13th scheduled for next year. Boys.
Well, they settled all this shit, didn't they? Finally?
Well, so the lawsuit, from what I understand, is over, but it's created like this weird bridging of rights to where it might be difficult for them to actually agree on how the money splits if they continue with the franchise. So we'll see what gets kept. You might end up... years ago on this show, I talked about how they might have to do 2 separate ones. One of Pam Voorhees and that like Friday 1 Legacy, and then one of Adult Jason and that Friday 2 Legacy. That's still on the table. We might end up with that. What they need to do
is figure out how to do a Flash movie / Avengers.
You just did a Ron.
Endgame.
Censored yourself.
Did I?
Yeah. How to do
a multiverse of Jason where you wind up getting every Jason from every movie in one movie. Figure
like Spider-Man.
That shit out, yes. Open portals, have an alien collection DNA, something to get all those characters in one movie.
Yep.
I want to see Roy Jason.
Actually, Doc.
Doc Brown?
Yep. Doc Brown could bring all those Jasons together.
It could be like a Mortal Kombat type movie, but better. Something to get them all in one movie. How
what
do you
do you think
that?
would happen
How do you
if
do that?
Jason tried to
kill Jason?
No. Jason tried to invade, say, Alexandria in
The Walking Dead.
season, I don't know, 5, 6.
Okay.
Go.
Get Jason in Alexandria?
Yeah. What would happen?
I don't think he would get through the wall. How would he get in there?
Oh, I don't
He's
know.
not
He
really
would
strong.
teleport. You've seen Friday the 13th Part 8, Jason
yeah.
Takes Manhattan.
Yeah, that's
that boy
right.
can teleport.
Or he'd punch the door down like he did that kid's head.
Heck
Just in general, with what the Walking Dead cast knows about taking down undead
I don't know.
beings. And
They'd probably chop his head off.
the ultimate...
Well, you got Michonne.
I mean, I guess that kind of did work in number 4 if
Yeah.
he hadn't been, struck by lightning in the next one.
Frankenstein. I mean, Michonne learned to cut arms and jaws off and walk around with them on a leash.
So you got money on the Walking Dead crew.
Yeah, they would
For
figure
sure.
that shit out. Yeah.
Having not watched The Walking Dead, I'll take Team Jason. He seems to have a pretty good track record.
I think he would run rampant among the residents of Alexandria, but I think
the ones that
the main guys, the crew,
yeah,
I think they would take care of business.
Daryl,
Yeah, they would know what to do.
Carol, other Arrow characters,
All the arrows.
Yep.
Yeah, I think they would be able to take care of it.
Michonne.
What happens,
Rick.
though, when the Black Snake stuff starts happening, and then one of your beloved Walking Dead people is now Jason?
Jason? Well,
Then
that
you-
has happened on the show
Yeah,
many times.
they know how to handle that too. Especially Carol.
You guys are no fun.
There have been times in the show, many times, where people have naturally died in safety. And because the people didn't realize that you can turn even if you're not bit, have become infiltrators of safety and killed a lot of people. That
It's
happened
true.
a few times on the show.
But remember, that's mindless zombie attack. Jason is like a
Is it
predator.
tactical Jason or is it like zombie Jason?
Think of the worst Jason scenario you can think of. But the characters
So it has to
are
be undead
not
Jason.
the characters are not helpless. They are the
Right.
Walking Dead core characters.
So the
Yeah.
video game. We're talking about
Yeah.
the Friday the 13th video game at this
It would
point.
be the video game. I'll take the Savini Jason. Isn't he like from hell? Like, isn't he?
Oh
like,
yeah,
on
he's like
fire and
literally
shit?
made of fire.
Speaking
It's
of
really
Savini, he's going to be in Gettysburg this weekend.
Are you gonna go hang out with him?
No,
Why?
Pennsylvania?
he's going to be at Creature Con.
Get
Virginia?
over there, man.
Where's Gettysburg?
Gettysburg is about 2 hours from us. West.
407 miles away. Go after it, man.
Southern end of Pennsylvania before you hit Virginia, I believe.
Okay.
Like midway through the state.
Okay.
So probably like 3 hours, 2.5 hours. I don't know. The only other person, PJ Souls, is going to be there, but she always comes to Monster Mania. And I think Savini's probably going to, now that he's not getting hit by cars, I think he'll be doing cons again. If he's coming to Gettysburg, he's definitely going to do Monster Mania at some point.
So anyway.
Hey, what are we doing next week, Travis? I feel like something special is on the horizon, but I just can't remember.
Well, I think we're beginning our fall break.
What?
Showgirls.
We're not doing Showgirls.
Oh, okay.
Trick or treat. Definitely not. Showgirls.
Trick or treat, bitch.
Trick or treat, bitch. We're watching Nightmare on Elm Street 5.
Are you ready for the fall break, George?
Oh, yeah. I'm ready for fall in general.
Yeah, that weather will be
pumpkin spice.
Been outside all summer. Been in attics. Been in crawl spaces.
You've been an addict? You've been in attics. Okay.
Been in the sun.
He's been in attics.
I can't wait for all the leaves to turn colors and fall down, and for my wife to complain about it's always cold. I love that season. Yes.
So
and Halloween.
We're gonna kick off
and all things horror.
The fall break with.
Hold on, let's not tell him yet, George.
Okay.
Yeah.
We've been looking forward to discussing Halloween kills.
Yes.
For like a full calendar year.
Yes, sir.
And it just so happens that in mid-October, they're going to have the sequel to Halloween Kills, Halloween Ends, will be coming out.
Can't wait.
So, the thing about your understanding of the Halloween movies, you're very limited. We've picked and chosen. We picked and choosed. We did some very specific choosing with the Halloween movies that we showed you.
He's tackling the English language.
Yep, I'm so tired. Too much Police Academy. My brain is broken. But George, we made it a distinct point to skip certain eras of the Halloween movie franchise to give you cohesive narratives, but also so you wouldn't quit the podcast.
Okay.
But now we've given you this big old carrot on a stick. Halloween Kills, Halloween Ends, Halloween 2018. These are all things that you've been looking forward to for a full calendar year.
That's true.
So we're going to start with Halloween 4.
Okay.
One of the ones that we skipped.
Feel free. Maybe I'll let you borrow
the
the Sandman edition that I have. That way you can get reacquainted. With
Yes,
Mr.
you
Myers.
should definitely have Halloween 1 and 2 in your brain when you watch Halloween 4.
This is a sequel to 2.
Hold on. Halloween, I remember the original Halloween, no problem. Halloween 2.
Hospital
blown up at the end.
Continuation, like an immediate continuation of the first
Same
one.
night.
Only now he shoots the gun 7 times instead of 6.
Right.
Didn't that take place in like a school?
There was a part in a school that was definitely ripped out of Deep Red directly.
Where he wrote
Sam Hain
on the wall or on the chalkboard. And then sister on a piece of paper.
That's when we find out that she is the sister of Michael Myers.
That was the retrofit.
Yeah. And then Halloween 3
was the masks, which had nothing to do with Michael Myers.
Completely different.
So Halloween 2 came out in 81. And then they did Halloween 3 in like 82. And then they did Halloween 4 in 89, I think.
So
88.
Are you guys going to tell me if I ask?
What?
Maybe.
Like, is Halloween 4 more like 1 and 2 or more like 3?
It's a sequel to 2.
Okay.
The market rejected Halloween 3 at the time. Although it has been so
ready.
funny
Yeah.
Yeah, your kids are gonna love it. Well, it's so funny because now on Twitter, so many of the podcasts from people our age are just singing the praises of Halloween 3. And I mean, we've been there since the beginning. I love Halloween 3. But it has been fun to watch it like become mainstream acceptable that people like that movie. Because when I was in high school, it took a lot of work to get anybody to watch it because they hated it.
Mm.
But now everybody's matured.
I think people just kind of stopped the madness and realized what it was, and they watch it as Season of the Witch. They don't watch it as Halloween 3.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Which is how you should watch it until they completely connect it later on. Hopefully.
God, wouldn't that be something?
Hopefully.
And then we have to watch The Guest, which I guess takes place in this universe too. But we'll get to that later.
Oh, really? Don't know what that is.
Yeah, you'll have to see. See?
So, yeah, Halloween 4.
Halloween
Okay.
4 has a very, very exciting subtitle.
Yes. It's the
Return
of Michael Myers.
Dun, dun, dun.
And then is Halloween 5 the final chapter?
No.
Oh.
It's
okay.
the curse? No.
No. Halloween 5 is literally like, he's back again, I guess.
Wait, what is the subtitle of 5?
I think it's the
6 is the
Revenge
curse.
of Michael
Revenge.
Myers.
Revenge of Michael Myers, and then 6 is Curse of Michael Myers. And then 7 is Fuck This Shit.
No, 7 is H2O, which we've already watched.
That's
and you
right.
liked.
Yes, we watched it. Yes. It was a good reboot.
But if you remember, Halloween H2O was a direct sequel to Halloween 2 also. So what does that do to your brain?
Yes, we will discuss. Put a pin in that.
I'll have to watch H2O again.
No, you don't. No, just
you don't
1
have
and
to.
2. Just 1 and 2.
Do you want him to watch the Sandman
Well,
version? Or
I'm fine with either one. I like the
are we gonna
Sandman cut because it fixes the 7 shots thing.
Yeah.
Are we going to discuss H2O?
No, it won't come up again.
Okay.
Never
might.
again.
Never again?
Or maybe 2 weeks from now. We don't know. It'll
Right.
come up, but not right now. Right now, your focus. You can only watch so many movies a week. Halloween 1,
It will be
Halloween 2.
used as Exhibit A few times in discussion, possibly, but there's no need to watch it.
Okay. You'll probably just have to jog my memory
Yeah.
of what you're talking about.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean,
I
maybe
like
watch
Halloween
Halloween
4.
1, 2, 3, 4, and 7. That'd be reasonable.
Yeah. Yeah.
No,
So,
1 and 2
yeah.
is all you need.
I will lend you the Sandman edition. You can watch them both as one movie.
And maybe Meg
Okay.
will watch because she needs to see that movie. That's like Halloween 1 is like legitimately the best movie we've done on this show.
Better than Silence?
I don't know, man.
We've done some good ones.
It's also 85 minutes, which is
I think Halloween is a perfect movie, but I would never say it's better than insert movie. Let's put it that way.
Yeah.
There's just so many movies that are so much better.
Yeah. Better than 7? I don't know.
Like, I think it's just a simple movie. When you talk complex, like, I think The Shining's a better movie than
Yeah,
Halloween
for sure.
for its story, but for its simplicity and its cinematography and its iconic creation of a brand, it's perfect. But I don't know if it's better than a lot of other
Yeah,
movies.
sure. Yeah.
I
makes
just,
sense.
for every movie you could mention that is better than Halloween, I could tell you why Halloween is better.
Maybe that's our 200th episode.
Oh, man.
Because I feel you. It's one of my top 10 movies of all time. But I can think of a lot of movies that are better movies.
That sounds like a great episode. We both come up with 10 movies that are better than Halloween,
Okay.
and we discuss
And then Dan shoots them all
just
down.
quickly why this movie is better than Halloween, and Dan refutes it.
Yeah.
And just
mean, we
do
might-
that for an hour.
We might need that
See what
much
happens.
content in some of these middling Halloween sequel episodes. So start making your list, boys.
I don't know. Four we could get.
I like
50 minute-
Halloween 4.
50
I'm going to
is out.
spoil that right up front. It's
Yeah.
pretty good.
I
All right.
like it.
Very good.
All right. Thank you, listeners, George.
Listeners, thank you so much for listening.
You can tell he means it because I've made him do it.
No.
And he's reading from a cue card. Which
Seriously.
Is kind of weird too.
Thank you for listening. Thank you for participating.
Thank you. We just hit 700 subscribers on YouTube.
Thank you.
Thank
you
you
for that.
700
Can't thank
people.
you enough.
Appreciate it.
From the bottom of my heart.
Tell a friend.
Yeah, or don't.
Like, subscribe.
Tell your friends that you found this really terrible podcast.
And
then
see if you're wrong.
And then they'll have to listen to it. That's what I do.
If you know anybody famous, tell them about the show.
Yeah, true that.
Just don't tell who did we rip that you said we shouldn't have ripped. It's got to be at least one person we don't want to listen to.
There's like a bunch.
Ay vey.
But yeah.
Anybody in
like
Wild Things. Don't tell anybody in Wild Things to listen to the
except
show.
for Kevin Bacon. We love him.
Kevin Bacon, because we did talk about his dick for
Yeah, he's great.
2 episodes.
Yeah.
Flatteringly. I mean, come on.
More than that.
I mean, come on. Who wouldn't?
Yeah.
George is thinking about it right now. Wait, he never saw it. Oh, wait, no, you did.
Yeah, I did. I saw it like 4 times. It's the only part I woke up for every time I tried to watch it.
You'll like it better the 5th time.
George is really going to be shocked when Halloween 4 is just Wild Things 2.
Oh, man.
That's a shame.
Thank you for joining us on the Remedial Film Class Podcast. As always, you can find us at facebook.com/remedialfilmpod. And you can find us on Twitter and Instagram at remedialfilmpod. We'll be back next week with the first installment of this year's Fall Break, Halloween 4, The Return of Michael Myers.